I'll be calling you a radical. I want to put this up on my way down to the Capitol to fight the nuclear cartel. Trying to save you from you in Utah is nearly impossible, but you got me. So, I can walk and chew gum too. This house that was built by the nuclear cartel. People don't know this. The merger of General Electric and Utah Construction made these people multi-billionaires that built this, the D family. It's a masterpiece. It's a gem. The Wattis Curse, the CEO, they made all their money on the nuclear cartel. And the irony of all this is Ann Milner, the ex-president of here, and then we'll get to Mr. 2. Ann Milner, this is important. She was president of the university when they sold the #1 school business down the river, including blackballed Kevin Blanch. What they did to me is outrageous. So, remember, this is who did this. She was the president of the university. That's who sponsored this bill to make Utah the nuclear hub. She avoids me like the plague. Now remember, they're under investigation by the FBI for selling state secrets to China. And Lee himself is still on the payroll. Now I want you to think about this. The House. And then we'll talk about Joe Bass' resignation. But we'll make this up. So do you think, that's what I'll tag this. Is that one of the greatest calls you ever heard in basketball? I think it's one of the best in Weber State basketball ever. They're stunned in Cheney. They're stunned in Cheney. I mean, that was their announcer up there. I mean, speaking of announcers, we love Arky, but he's not Clouky. Nobody was. Clouky loved Alex, too. So Alex, too, I got to tell you something. I've been friends with Alex since the day he got here. He and I are pretty, I've known him very well. We're friends. He has fought and struggled through adversity like unbelievable. His knee's gone. He's got some stomach issues. Him and Dyson Kohler are best friends. They room together with Dylan. They're still very close. Both of them. What they've gone through, you should see the scar on Dyson. I said, it's bigger than my scar. Talk about fight through adversity. Fight through pain. Fight through something. Then we'll get to Joe Bass. So I'm going to just make it right here. I don't even know if this marker works. I'll get it better. And I'm going to give this to him on senior night. I'll make it better when I get some paint on it. I'm going to give him this. His best game, I'll darken it up. I'll get some purple and red. I'll work it. Oh, there's. So, what? Unbelievable, this team. And before I forget, McGill Tomley, we're all praying for you and thinking of you. Now remember, I'm a 1% cancer survivor. I know pain. Oh, fuck do I know pain. Spent 5 years in the bone marrow transplant at LDS off and on. Down to no pain. I mean, down to 119 pounds. I remember I've been shot up with every fucking drug man known to man. So I'm down to the Capitol yesterday and, protesting the nuclear hub bill sponsored by Ann Milner. I saw Mortensen down there yesterday. I had a long conversation with him about what they've done to me, which I've talked to too about this. Alex, so we've had discussions. So I run into Alex over in the Union. I'm getting some stuff ready to go down to the Capitol on Monday. I'm hurrying to get some stuff ready. I run into him and Dyson, and we're talking, about everything we always talk about. And we're visiting. And Two's talking about his knee's just gone. He says he's going to have to retire from basketball. This is going to be it, the end of the season. He's got some stomach issues in this knee. I mean, I don't know how he's been able to do it. But this is what we always thought Two would evolve into. Now, this is Blaze 3, Blaze 3, Blaze 3. The old man that coaches Eastern Washington is a genius. He's been around everywhere. That guy has coached in so many different conferences, so many leagues. He's old school as hell. Now, this ties into Stockton. So, Threatt versus Stockton, back to the 90s. Here we go back to the 90s. Threatt versus Stockton. Oh, boy. Now, remember Stockton launched up the scud here, ahead by 20 points, dribbling the ball, and launched it up off the backboard and in. Oh, they're not kids. These are grown fucking men playing D1 basketball. This is big time. This is the fucking up, all the way up. These are many will turn into professional athletes. John Stockton's at the game. I've been talking to John through the whole game. I went up and talked to John. I says, what do you think of that? That was pretty freaking low class. I told him just like that, John. He says, oh, yeah. And John Stockton, and I says, and me and John Stockton go way back because I know him from when I was younger because I used to coach 3-on-3 with his, and he did too, his sons, and so very friendly to me. We have a good relationship, and I love the guy. I'll guarantee his son got a talking. You think, I know for a fact because Alex and I talked about it. He didn't forget it. Oh, it pissed him off. Who does that? And he banked it in. Oh, you think these guys forgot? Of course, Cook didn't play. He was hurt, but neither did Dyson Kohler. I mean, neither is Tomley. So all Blaze 3, back to the 90s when the games were dogfights. Just remember, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. I love all you guys, Kobe Bryant, LeBron. Oh, fucking please. Who's the leading point average scorer in the history of the NBA? And this is an era when they scored 80 points a game because you had to go up against the likes of John Stockton. Who? Oh, Michael Jordan. 37 points a game. He even passed the great Wilt Chamberlain. Win NBA championships and Defensive Player of the Year and Offensive Player and MVP in the same year. Fucking, he's number one in every single fucking category. Fucking no, I mean, there's no comparison to go. So this fight that goes on, Threatt versus Stockton, back to the 90s. So the old man went after Threatt. The old man knows how to coach. I knew he would. And so you saw Blaze take his time and be patient, shot very few shots. And then he did what he did, tried to take over the game at the end. The old man wasn't going to let him. I mean, they were double and triple teams, so Blaze was smart enough to know this is going to open the door for Alex. And it did. And Alex showed up. Alex was 5 for 6 from the field. He was 6 for 6 from the line. Steals, blocks down the stretch. They're down by 5 points with no time left. It's all Alex 2 and Blaze 3. I mean, it's all those two together. Blaze gets the, tough, hard bucket with 3 guys draped all over him. He knows that they're triple and teaming when he goes in the lane, his move. He knows. So he's tossing it up and boom to Alex. They're beautifully together. They put the 4.04 second back on the clock. There's no way you're going to do that. And it wasn't like he was this far from the rim. I mean, it's unbelievable. It made Sports Center. I mean, so, in the media here, there is no media. So I've tried to pick up the slack and help out as much as I can. None of them support me. I get that. Me and Alex talked about it. I said the school owes me $1.4 million, for my cancer treatment. What they did to me, made sell my Tesla stock, whatever, because they could have covered me, the Black Line and Milner. Don't go see the Dalai Lama. You know about that? Look it up. Weber State professor emailing all Utah State legislators, part of the economic, forbidding them to go see, and her own students forgetting them to go see the Dalai Lama when he came in. Now you think about that. The school goes from first to worst because of Ann. She's our state senator here. She runs for me down there, but I'm headed down there. I'm not going to let them get away with this. So they're stunned in Cheney, but this is the brilliance of Blaze 3. So to the Joe Bass interview. So I'm down there talking. It's Addiction Day in the Capitol. You should have seen that crowd. Oh, fuck. It was massive. Everybody that's in recovery, it's been in recovery, fucking thousands of them. So there's a table set up. This woman has Addicted Athletes Foundation. And I says, you know about Trevon Smith? Do you know about Trevon Smith? No. And then I says, well, he's from Springfield. Well, that's where I live. I says, you're Addicted Athletes and you don't know about him? His story should be the biggest story in the country. His story, write a book, publish. I wrote 15,000 books. Freaking the Supreme Court has ruled a YouTube video is published. These are books, literature. Literally. She didn't know about Trevon Smith. The only reason Trevon Smith is in the Hall of Fame here is because of me. I mean, I threw a fit. I knew him really good. So you haven't listened to the interview with Joe Bass, who's going to retire, who's a genius. He's one of my favorite people that ever. So is Alex, one of my favorite people. And I know Joel very well. And I always thought he'd be a great coach. He's a genius. He's been here through thick and thin. And this pisses me off because Damian Lillard has never one time give Joe Bass credit. Without Joe Bass, there is no Damian Lillard in the NBA. There's no such thing. Damian Lillard broke his freaking foot. Had the bad injury. It was bad his sophomore year early. Against Tulsa down there where Joel's moving back to. Broke his foot. Joe Bass, this is important because Randy Ray didn't believe that Damian Lillard was an NBA player. Joe and I used to talk. Oh, Joel did. So did I. We're only two. And then Kelvin McCoy did. Kelvin McCoy and us, we knew it right from the beginning. This is the brilliance of Joe Bass. He knew that. And he says, we can't ruin this guy. They brought in three surgeons, went to work and saved Damian Lillard. And Damian Lillard's never given him credit one time in any year. Well, Damian Lillard doesn't give anybody credit but Damian Lillard. In his, and it is what it is. He's Damian Lillard. So Joe Bass was asked by the great Carl Archie, who named him the Great Dame. He says, who's the toughest athletes you've ever dealt with on that? You know the first name he brought up was? Blaze Threatt. They think that's something else, just contemporary in the time. Then he goes second. He gives his top five. And he says, Damian Lillard, oh, fuck. There's never been anybody focused as Damian Lillard. He wasn't here. And then he goes into Cantwell, Stephon. And then Clark, the other quarterback. But then he says, oh, wait a minute. The toughest of them all. Trevon Smith. You do know he was beat to death in a jail cell in Salt Lake. Where was the fucking school then? Well, the same thing they did to me. So Kevin Blanch, the new Fawn McKay Brody. And I told Brad Morrison this to his face. And, me and Brad have a very good relationship. The new Wat Masaka. The new Trevon Smith, Kevin Blanch. All four of us born and raised right here in Utah. Trevon Smith should be the most important story in all of college athletes in the country. He's the greatest football player that ever played here. Tell Rashid Shaheed come around. His numbers are staggering. He's fucking unbelievable. He got addicted to drugs. Playing in concussion protocol. There was a different era in those days. And Joel even said, the tough ones are pretty crazy. And, oh boy, was Trevon Smith crazy. But he should have been in the NFL. But he got addicted, and what a handful, what a nightmare it turned out to be. Beat to death in a jail cell in 2019. Young. He was a beautiful person. I knew him personally really well. Incredible guy. So, I'll give this to Alex on senior night Monday. I got to say this. I'm so impressed with all these players on this team. They could have folded it in. They could have went down in flames like they were going down in flames. It was horrible. That beat down by fucking Eastern Washington. And I talked to Alex about it. Oh, he didn't forget. Why do you think he didn't do the interviews after the fucking game? I'm sure he was in pain. And he's like, I know how he is. The guy's got a great personality, sense of humor, but he don't take no fucking shit from nobody. Nobody. You don't think he knew? Do you remember fucking Stockton's kid throwing up that scud? And these panty painter fucking media. Well, there is no media. The fans, oh yeah, he's just a kid. These are D1 fucking grown men. It's like somebody says, oh, when I was teaching, why are you teaching our kids? These aren't fucking kids. These are grown fucking human beings. So that's what I'll tag it. I think it's one of the great calls in Weber State history. Fucking loved it. They're stunned in Cheney. I can't believe it. It's one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. Ugly fucking old school basketball. Threatt versus Stockton, back to the 90s. Blaze Threatt, brilliant enough to know that they're quadruple teaming. They're fucking clogging that old man. I remember at the game here, because I'm sitting on the front row, and Cook fucking smacks the backboard over there, and the old man says, come here. You never won a game before. You don't know how to act. You never won. Old school, like John Stockton. I'm sure Sam, his kid, got an earful. John Stockton, we know how he was. As Frank Layden used to come. By the way, Frank Layden's sick, according to Archie right now. I talked to Frank Layden this summer at the Raptors game. And Frank Layden used to call John Stockton the Bulldog. Karl Malone says there's only two people in the entire NBA I'm not afraid of. I'll fight them any of them. Who are they? They're both with me. My coach, Jerry Sloan, and John Stockton, the Bulldog, as Frank Layton used to call him. Tough as nails. So Blaze there, and what a perfect pass. What an incredible play. So 5 for 6 from the field, 6 for 6 from the line. Steals. The big freaking plays at the end of the game. Well, we always knew he had it in him. It's too bad that he's not going to be able to advance his professional career, but I think he'd make a great professional center because he's tough as fuck. You don't take no shit. What do you think he didn't do the fucking interviews? You don't think he remembered that fucking beatdown? Oh, these are fucking D1. Oh, he remembered. He remembered. So, right on, Alec. I'll clean it up, make it a little better. Get these guys to sign it. I'll give it to you on senior night. By the way, you promised me a jersey, but I get that, how that goes, you know. The whole enchilada. Got to go with that left, Jarek. How about the lefty, by the way, at Idaho State? How good is he? Oh, he's good. I haven't seen a lefty like that since the greatest player ever played in that building. Who would that be? Jarek Hardy. So, right on, Alex. Alex told me, you'll never get that money from these guys. We'll see about that. Never say never. One day they're going to be stunned in Ogden. They're stunned in Cheney. The whole enchilada. So, off to the Capitol to battle. These monsters are trying to nuclear poison our place. It's the most important bill in the history of the state. And you got one person fighting them. Well, you got no journalism. You got no nothing. The great Joel Bass. Say he's going to go coach his grandson's baseball. Hey, what's happening? Yeah, it is. They're stunned and shit. Fuck, right on, Alex. Fucking so impressive. Great on you, Blaze. Fucking, what an assist. The greatest assist in Weber State history? Well, since the one up in, well, many of them, Washington. Could be. Stay tuned.